You're listening to the Tiny Vet Podcast with me, Dr. Nicole Sue, exotics vet, and my fiance.
Jez Watts got 4 degrees, no use for these. All right. That's my rhyme.
This is a new thing he's doing. Let's see how long until he gets tired of it.
I got a big notepad, list of rhymes,
yeah,
baby.
I suspect never, so if you're going to keep listening, you're going to have to get used to it. And today is kind of a little story time thing about why getting advice from strangers on the internet for your pets is actually really dangerous.
Unless you've just messaged Nicole on Messenger out of nowhere, and then she's replied to you because she spends so much of her free time giving free vet advice, which you're not supposed to be doing, right?
They're my colleagues.
Yeah, whatever. I feel like you just took out a Reddit post somewhere. You're like, anyone who wants to waste my spare time,
do that.
I have almost no time.
Everyone,
but please let me give you vet advice.
Everyone that messages me is a friend of mine.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I have friends.
Sorry, go ahead.
And this happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and it was super frustrating. It actually made me really upset for a couple of days. And one thing that I'm a little ashamed about is how I reacted in the moment. Okay. But basically, this person had a rabbit, and the rabbit had been unwell since like 7, 8 a.m. in the morning. And she spoke to people online, and the people online said, oh, that's fine, just, I don't even know what they told her to do, but don't go into the vet yet. Wait.
Oh, to see if it gets worse?
Or if it gets better.
Yeah,
I think they were thinking that it was just going to clear up on its own, or whatever.
Right.
And
wait, so who's the person that's given the advice?
Just random people on the internet.
Okay.
So there's lots of internet.
I feel like you shouldn't take advice from random people on the internet on anything.
Yeah, right? But
doesn't
like,
even matter if it's the life of something that you love. It's like,
it's insane to me.
Yeah, don't take it on like brushing your teeth or whatever.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
So there are Facebook groups, and there'll be ones for rabbits, there'll be ones for guinea pigs, there'll be one for specific breeds of dogs and stuff like that, or just all dogs in general.
Yeah.
And depending, there's rules and stuff, but some of them you can go, hey, my pet isn't doing this and they're supposed to do this. What do I do?
Right.
And there are some, and to be fair, there are a lot of comments in these that are like, go to the vet, you nutcase.
Yeah, I would imagine there's going to be some people who know what they're talking about and say the right thing.
Absolutely, but then you're going to have people that go, give it turmeric, rub coconut oil in his eyes, with no sense of...
Should I not have been rubbing coconut oil in my eyes?
No, that's why you're losing your vision. But without any sense of they could be wrong. They just 100% commit to it because they don't know enough to know that, hey, this could be wrong.
Yeah, I forget what the term for it is.
Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? That's where you don't know enough about something to know you don't know about it.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I think the internet is the best place to go see that in action.
It's really bad.
Yeah, anywhere on the internet, essentially.
But yeah, so she was told someone to wait and see, and then she ended up coming in half an hour before we closed.
Yeah, right.
And
because they've been waiting.
They're waiting the whole day, and I think they must have gone, well, they're closing soon. Let's just, go now. And I was visibly annoyed at them. I was like, you need to come earlier. But I think at that time it might have been, maybe misconstrued as, I don't want to work late.
Right.
But it was more like, dude, if you come in.
Sooner after the animal is in trouble is what you're saying.
Yeah, but also.
Not earlier in the day.
Yeah. Absolutely. But also it's something where I went, all right, well, it's 30 minutes before we close. And by the time I spoke to her, it was actually 30 minutes after we closed.
Sure.
And I went, well, I would like to admit your animal on an IV drip. Mm-hmm. And do all these things, but you need to be aware that we are shut now.
Yeah.
And your animal will be cared for by our ICU service. And so the ICU service
sees...
Right,
so not a specialist.
Yeah, they see... They're emergency specialists.
Yeah.
So
not an exotic specialist.
But not... Yeah. And she went, I'm not comfortable with that. I went, well... And to be honest, at that point in time, I was like, man, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my recommendations, and you can do that. I went, okay, well, I can do this, but you need to be aware that if we get worse, you will have to come back to that same ICU anyway.
Right, okay.
So on and so forth. And the pet got worse and passed away at that ICU the next morning.
Right.
And I was like, man, if she had come in first thing in the morning, first of all, we could have cared for that pet the whole day.
Right.
I could have, done testing that I wouldn't have been able to do at, 6 p.m. on a Saturday night. I could have gotten a lot more answers for her in with the same amount of money spent, and we may have had a better outcome.
Sure.
In the end. And I really put this on whoever told her, just wait, maybe it'll get better by itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you take any advice from the internet, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
like you just shouldn't ever do that.
Yeah.
There's way more misinformation out there than information.
And people go, oh, well, my pet had this symptom and I did this at home and it was absolutely fine. But you have no idea what that symptom was. Yeah. If it was caused by the same thing. And this is one of the reasons why we need to see your pet before giving advice.
Sure, absolutely.
Like, a lot of people go, oh, the vet won't just, give me antibiotics to pick up or write me a prescription. It's because we know that if it's not what they need, it could have really severe consequences.
Sure.
Like, if there's a potential harm associated with telling you to give your pet a medication that you have at home, or that because we haven't seen your pet before, we're not going to do it.
Sure. Because
we know what can happen, and we've seen what happens. Mm-hmm. And it's not because you want to make the money for the consultation, because whoever's telling you that you have to come in is 100% not making the money from that consultation. You're paid an hourly rate. Sure. Because it's usually our receptionist or, one of us being like, no.
And I can definitely say, like, from the experience of, being in a relationship with a vet, you have never come home happy that you stayed there later.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, why?
Like, you probably get like a little bit of overtime or whatever, I don't know. But like,
oh, I don't get paid any overtime. I get paid the same hourly rate I get paid. Weekends, 12 in the morning, it's all the same hourly rate.
All right, well now I'm mad too.
The Tiny Vet Podcast is brought to you by Upilio. Sources for our topics can be found at upilio.io. Outro music by Matt Charleston.